because he's a crayon drawing, we knew pretty early on that we wanted him to be a mix of 2D and 3D animation.
Everything that you're talking about, the character development, like you have to accomplish that so fast to like connect people really quickly, and you deliver on that.
We had a very like quirky, lovable, playful, funny story, but I just underestimated how emotional it made people feel, which was awesome to see.
Welcome back to the Life at Disney podcast. I'm your host, Lisa. Today, we're getting into the holiday spirit with a look behind the development and release of a Disney holiday short, Best Christmas Ever. Joining me today are two of the creative minds behind this short, executive producer with Disney Entertainment, Paige, and senior manager with brand marketing, Jenise. Hello, Paige. Hello, Jenise. I'm so excited to talk to you both today. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you both. I'm clearly very excited to talk to you both today about this spot. It's so incredible. But first, we have a little challenge for you both. To help our listeners get to know you, we'd like each of you to share your Disney career in 60 seconds or less. I'm going to set a timer.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I know. I'm like already feeling the pressure to do this myself to set the timer. Okay. I'm setting a timer, and then let's see. Okay. I think I'm going to have Paige, are you okay to go first?
All right. Let's do it.
Here we go. All right, so you got 60 seconds or less. You're going to take us through how you came to Disney, what roles you've held, and maybe a favorite project or two you've been a part of. Okay, and the timer starts now.
Okay. I started my career at ABC Entertainment in the creative marketing department, where I worked primarily on on-air promos and launch campaigns for shows like How to Get Away with Murder, Scandal, the Emmys, Oscars, anything like that. A huge variety of content. My favorite project there was probably working on The Little Mermaid Live, which was a one-time special, and it was just a ton of fun being involved in that. And yeah, we did all the on-air promos for ABC. And then after that, I moved over to the Walt Disney Studios, where I currently work at the Hive, which is the studio's internal creative agency. And here we work on theatrical trailers and TV campaigns for any of the entities within the Walt Disney Company. And here I've been able to work on campaigns like Inside Out 2 and Moana 2 and Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and just a huge variety of creative assets for different business units within the company. And now I mainly work with the brand marketing team as part of their creative arm, which is how I got involved in the Disney holiday campaign. And I don't know where my timing is at, but that's kind of the quick gist.
Okay, literally that was like a minute. Perfect. That was 60, like 0.94. Okay, we're gonna say you got it right on the dot. Okay. I felt bad. I didn't know how to like cue you. But that was amazing. And by the way, I truly was geeking out along that journey. Scandal. Oh my God. You have no idea. One of my friends worked on that show. So like, and then everything else that you talked about. So I'm a fan.
It was a blast.
Oh my God. How cool. Okay. Jenise, I am just as excited. Are you ready for this? 60 seconds.
Let's go.
It starts now.
Okay, great. So it's funny. I actually also started my career at Disney at ABC, similar to Paige, but I started in television research. And then I also jumped over to the studios, but I was doing social analytics for the theatrical group. And then I eventually joined corporate brand management, where I helped steward some of the company's biggest and best brands and franchises. I've always been really captivated by Disney's characters and worlds, and just kind of like that feeling of magic that stays with you. And that kind of passion led me to my current role in brand marketing, which has definitely been my favorite role yet. I get to focus on creative campaigns that just really make people feel something and connect emotionally with our stories. And this year's holiday film has definitely been one of my favorite projects, and I've gotten to work with Paige and team, and it's such a great group. I would say another highlight was leading World Princess Week, one of our biggest cross-company princess initiatives, and we also partnered with Paige and team on a beautiful princess brand spot. Those are some highlights, and it's been a pretty incredible journey.
They already don't want me to do this job ever again, because I just had to keep listening.
I'm like, girl, she definitely went over it. No.
They don't want me to do the 60-second countdown because I kept listening. We went a little over, but you know what? That doesn't matter. I was so fascinated. I was tuned in. I was not tuning out. Okay. But truly, though, I mean, that is like the Disney magic in and of itself. Like when you're a cast member, like when you're an employee, like you these paths, like you have no idea at the onset, like where you're going to go within the company. And like I myself totally can relate to that. Like it's just so cool where you started to see like, this is so cool. And then here you are in this moment working on this incredible project. Okay. So For our listeners who haven't watched the short yet, we're going to include a link in our show description for you to check it out. So don't worry about that. But we want to start with, could you give us a summary of the story?
So this year's holiday spot is called Best Christmas Ever, and it's about a little girl named Molly who she's writing her Christmas list to Santa and accidentally includes one of her drawings with the letter. And then Santa takes the list quite literally and brings this crayon creation, Doodle, to life. But there's one small problem in the fact that Molly never drew him on a mouth. So the spot then follows Molly and Doodle over the course of the year as they become inseparable friends, and Doodle is really doing his best to keep up with everything that Molly does, but without a mouth, he's unable to experience many of the simple joys that we often take for granted and, just the magic of the holidays. And so when the next Christmas approaches, Molly realizes pretty much exactly how she can give Doodle the best Christmas ever and finally give him what he's been missing this whole past year.
Okay, I really did. I truly love this short. It got me emotional. I was fascinated to learn, though, that it was all in development like a year in advance. That's crazy. Like even before the last short was released. So that was really fascinating. So Paige, you're executive producer on this. What would you say, and like how would you describe the creative process, developing the script and then determining what story you wanted to tell this year? Because like now in this moment, you're like, this has happened, but take us back to the beginning.
Yeah, you're right. It does take a long time to conceptualize these things and actually make them happen. So last year's short was called The Boy and the Octopus. And even before launch, we knew that we had something pretty special with it. And then it was just so tremendously well received that the goal this year was to set out to create something that topped it and was even better. And so it took a lot of ideation to kind of like try to level up on this one. And there was a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of scripting and revisions and starting over from scratch. And, when you're telling an original holiday story like this, it not only needs to feel magical and warm and inspiring, but we need to make sure that it feels uniquely Disney. And so it has to be uniquely Disney on every level, from the characters' personalities to the character design to incorporating unique little Disney Easter eggs throughout. Like there's all these elements that go into it. So we knew that we needed to come up with a story that like only Disney could tell in a way that only Disney could execute. And so we somehow, like through all of that, we landed on this story about Molly and Doodle. And then, even after landing on this story, you still have this creative process that continues and development continues all the way through shooting and into post-production and editorial. And, we poured over every single frame and every detail of this spot like you wouldn't even believe. So yes, it takes a long time to get there, but it takes a lot of collaboration through a lot of different teams and a lot of people. And we were really excited with where we landed with it.
Oh, so heartwarming, so heartfelt, and really the Disney magic, like you said, it all came together. So Paige touched on this. Jenise, how would you describe this all from your perspective? Because your role with brand marketing obviously is bringing all these perspectives together. How would you, describe your role in this?
Yeah, as Paige said, it definitely takes time. It also definitely takes a village. I will say, when it comes to just the creative core of the spot, we really keep kind of a tight knit group between the Hive and the brand marketing. That's kind of like the special sauce, I would say, when it comes to the creative. That said, collaboration is super important with some of our key partners. So, for example, we brought in our international team to make sure the story landed, across the globe, consumer products to weave in the priority products organically that really felt natural to the story. We worked with franchise teams like from Pixar for key story moments with Toy Story. And then our CSR partners, we worked really closely too, who also use that end line, make someone's holiday magic in their CSR initiatives as well. So we worked with a lot of people to help get this off the ground, but it all came together and we ended up with something truly magical.
And magical it was. It was so magical. We loved working on this piece.
You really can tell. And I love that, like about you both, like you can tell that that's what comes through and shines through at the end. Like once this is out in the world is all the love and care that went into it, like from behind the scenes in the development. So that definitely shines. And one thing that really shines too, we've mentioned him, Doodle. He's an original character. You got to take us back to the beginning on that. Take us back to the beginning about how Doodle was created.
Oh my goodness. Jenise, do you want to go? Or
I'll jump in and feel free to add anything. But I think like getting Doodle right was actually one of the biggest milestones for us for sure. And honestly, part of one of probably the most challenging parts of the project, because a child's doodle can just go a million different directions, right? Like a child's imagination is endless. So we had to kind of strike the right balance of like it needing to feel lovable, quirky, also unmistakably Disney at the same time. And so the team actually brought in kids into the process and had them create their own doodles. And our VFX team from Untold, which you'll hear from, then used those as inspiration. Also, something is of note is we actually made a point to bring in Eric Goldberg for this. He's such a legendary Disney animator, and he really helped us make this character move like a Disney character. So that was huge in Doodle's development.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a good point. We went through so many different iterations, and like Jenise said, we worked with Untold Studios to create Doodle, who we actually also worked with on The Boy and the Octopus. But the creation of the character of Doodle happened through a ton of trial and error. And because he's a crayon drawing, we knew pretty early on that we wanted him to be a mix of 2D and 3D animation so that he could get all the best parts of being 2D but living in this 3D world. And so we went through rounds of designs and went into great detail on basically every single aspect of this character. So, from the eyes, every great Disney character has these big emotional eyes. So, like, how do we make these eyes come to life on a 2D crayon drawing? And then not only his eyes, but then every wonky movement that he had, every thickness in the crayon strokes, like up to the details of the thickness of the crayon stroke. So it was just every imperfection that made him so lovable was intentional, and really nothing about him, even though he looked so crazy and funny and quirky, nothing was accidental. So it was just a huge group effort to really make that happen, and not only make him feel realistic and lovable, like Jenise said, but also create a story and a character that we all felt like, yep, this is a Disney character.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Paige, but I feel like he didn't fully come to life until we had John Goodman in there
Mhm.
recording his voice and really bringing that personality and the heart and the humor that really made the character who he was. I think that was definitely a highlight for me as well.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like he really finally came, like he popped off the screen when John put his voice in there, and we were all like, yes, okay, we got him.
We're excited to welcome a special guest to this episode. To share a little bit more about the visual effects that brought Doodle to life, we asked Untold Studios creative director Adam Droy to take us through the creative process and the studio's collaboration with Disney.
Hello, Life at Disney listeners. Untold Studios joined forces once again with Disney to bring Doodle to life. We were involved all the way through production, from very early concept and character designs, from the shoot all the way through to final animation and final delivery. With the character of Doodle, we feel like we've really found a beautiful style. Doodle is obviously a 2D crayon drawing, but living in a world where he's affected by lights and he has dimensionality. He can interact with things in the real world. He's lit in the scene, but he's not as fully integrated as a typical 3D character. He pops off of the scenes like he would if he was a crayon drawing. We really wanted to make sure that he retained as many of his crayon features as possible. We created a crayon toolkit to be able to really zone in on the exact features that make a crayon stroke look like a crayon stroke before mapping them onto Doodle's body. Doodle's body has over 3,500 individual crayon strokes, each handcrafted and placed for the perfect read of his quirkiness and charm, whilst also being able to read as much of that crayon feeling as possible.
Listeners out there, you guys have to watch this short. It's so heartwarming, and it does everything that you're talking about, the character development, like you have to accomplish that so fast to
Mhm.
connect people really quickly, and you deliver on
Mhm.
that. But I did with the Pixar of it all and the nods to the other films like Toy Story, and then hearing his voice, I was like, Kitty, I took me to Monsters Inc. His character. I'm like, oh my God, I just thought of all these connections. So you guys
Yeah.
really get that, how you were able to just do all this in the development of it. But I mean, how does it feel that once it's out in the world and then hearing people like me and beyond reacting to it, is there anything that you saw in the responses that have stuck with you and that you're excited about?
Yeah, it's a great point about, all the Disney iconography was in there because all of that was very intentional too. So to see people picking up on that and really feeling something with the Disney brand is always amazing to see. And it's just always rewarding to see people's reactions, hearing their genuine feelings about it, and people saying like you that it made them cry or that they related to the story because of X, Y, and Z going on in their own lives. But or even just as simple as like the Disney magic made them feel something good and special. So especially after pouring so much time and energy into a project like this, seeing something that you helped create from scratch and like making an impact, it really never gets old, and it's always fun to see. And we're always looking through all the comments, looking at everything that people say. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, it definitely was a mix of relief and exhilaration because as we mentioned, we've been working on this for a year and you're kind of like living with these characters and these stories, like almost like in secret, and you just like aren't sure how people are going to react after so long. And then seeing it out there in the real world, it's just such a payoff when people, really connect to it emotionally. I think that was one of the most surprising things for me because we had a very like quirky, lovable, playful, funny story, but I just underestimated how emotional it made people feel, which was
Mhm.
awesome to see.
Yeah, it's funny too that you say that because we watch it so many times over and over from the beginning to the end, every iteration of it. And then you get to a point where you're like, okay, we think that this is really good, but are other people going to think that it's good? It's like you never really know until it's out in the world. And even little things of like, okay, will the viewer understand this? Because we know that this is how it is. But so there's so much back and forth that happens and a lot of creative collaboration that needs to happen in order to make these things what they are.
It really comes through. And I do. I love how you just touched on like what it means to you and then knowing even more about the behind the scenes, like of all the different teams that were working together to like make this come to life. So, so special. So you've touched on a lot, but I want to know, is there anything else from the development or the production that you wish more people could know about? And then also on top of that, are there any other core memories that are going to stay with you from working on this project?
Oh, core memories. I love that. Janice, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I think there were a couple moments, and one we already touched on, which was the recording with John Goodman. Just being watching the recording booth with him just will last with me forever. He's such a pro. He's such a legend, and he really brought a voice to Doodle that I just didn't expect, but was such a pleasant. Surprise with all the humor and warmth that he brought. And then the other memory that really is sticking with me is the recording of the track itself. We recorded it in London at Abbey Road Studios, which is so iconic, with over a 50-piece orchestra. And just watching that historic room with this beautiful music rendition of You've Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story come to life was just such a memory that will stay with me for sure.
Yeah, that's such a good point. The music of it all, like it's really that's I guess what I would say is something that I wish more people could know about is just how much energy and love and dedication goes into the making of something like this from so many people, like the composers, the PAs on set, the music house and the VFX company, the production company, the agency, everybody. Like we all had to come together and do our part to get this done. And so it's never just one person or one small group. It's really a whole army and really important to value those that you work with and that you collaborate with to achieve the best outcome. And that's really how this spot was made was just a lot of really hardworking people willing to collaborate and put their egos aside and just make something great, even all the way up to Taika Waititi, who is our director. And we're so grateful to be able to work with him a second year in a row. He's just an incredible collaborator. He's been amazing to work with on set. And we're just so fortunate that we get to work with all of these people that really feel the passion behind the project and really work together to make it happen. So I would say that is my biggest takeaway from it. But also in terms of memories or milestones from the project, I think all the things that Jenise already said, but just working with these great people, but also the final scene that we had, which was at Disneyland on the teacups. And that was just like the culmination of, a week-long shoot. And it really just represented the hard work and dedication of everybody. It was just like something so satisfying about, seeing all the planning and effort come together in this final, like joyful, really playful moment on the teacups. And it just kind of felt like the perfect way to wrap up the project. And we just loved how the story played out. And we just felt really fortunate to be able to work on something like this.
I mean, honestly, how incredible. Like just even a few of those things, like there's so much there, like the John Goodman, London. I can't even like Abbey Road. What are you saying right now? And then the teacups are at the parks. It's like how
Yeah.
incredible, how special. And Taika, obviously, oh my gosh, love Taika. And like you said, that's back to back. That's 2 years in a row. These shorts have been so meaningful, so magical, and gotten us all into the holiday spirit. So thank you guys for the work that you guys do. I want to continue the holiday spirit a little bit though, because now you have this incredible story that's a part of all the holiday stories that Disney has created. So we want to have a little fun movie knowledge challenge for you guys. Are you ready for this?
Cute.
I'm gonna be so bad at this.
I'm not very good at it either.
Okay, so how it's gonna go is I'm gonna give you guys a tagline for a Disney holiday movie,
Oh gosh.
and you're gonna try to guess the corresponding film.
Oh gosh.
I'm
okay.
here to help. I'm here to help. So
I wish I had watched more Disney holiday movies. I mean, I feel like I've seen most of them, but I don't know. We'll see.
Paige, we're gonna see right now. Jenise, we're gonna see. Okay, here we go with the first one. Here's the tagline. This Christmas, the snow hits the fan.
How about a hint?
Can I just guess Home Alone for every single one?
That's a strategy. That's a strategy right there. Okay, so we're going with a hint. Okay. Scott Calvin.
Oh, the Santa Claus?
That was it.
Boom.
Done.
Good. I'm like,
Done.
what was the
I
Wow,
was like
okay.
trying not to give you like too big of a hint, but I couldn't think of anything else.
I was gonna just say the Santa Claus because that's one of the only movies that comes to mind, but I didn't because I'm like, I don't know if that's right.
Okay, Paige, very nice. The next one, here we go. Somewhere between LA and New York, Jake found the meaning of Christmas.
Wait, can I Google?
Okay, it was like the late 90s, Jonathan Taylor Thomas,
Oh,
heyday.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I'll be home for Christmas. We both got it.
Well done. Well done. I don't know if I'm supposed to be helping you this much, but you know what? We're getting there.
No,
We're
please
getting
We
there.
need it. We need it.
That one was really hard. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, though.
Yeah, teenage heartthrob.
Okay, next one. No one does stealth like an elf.
Stealth, like an elf.
Do I need to be watching more holiday movies?
Paige,
I
you're like,
think
you
I
know
do.
what? I've been working on one for the last year.
I know.
A short.
It's animated.
A short or a film?
Denise, I feel like you know this deep down.
Stealth, like an elf.
Couldn't tell you.
Okay. Prep and landing.
Prep and landing. Oh,
Jenny said it. She said it.
what's you said? Prep?
You got it. You totally got it. You didn't even need my help on that one at all.
Yeah, no,
Okay. All right. I feel like we got a couple more. You guys are going to finish strong. I know.
Oh gosh.
you got this.
A family comedy without the family.
Home Alone.
Yes.
Is it?
I made
Yay.
my family disappear. There you go.
Well, that
I
would
feel
have been
like-
easy.
Okay, that one. Yeah. Okay. Last one. He's back. Mickey Mouse in his first new motion picture in 30
The
years.
Christmas, not Carol. Mickey Christmas Carol. No.
Yes! That was
Okay.
it!
Okay. I couldn't remember that was the first one that came out or not.
Well, okay. I've been so happy and joyful talking to you both. It's really true, and you truly both embody this. Disney means so much to so many people around the world. But I want to know, what does it mean to you to be continuing Disney's legacy of storytelling in your career?
Janice, you want to go or you want me
Oh
to?
man. Yeah, I guess like for me, it's just really that magic of Disney that's always been the way the stories like make people feel and they stay with you. And being a part of continuing that legacy is just super inspiring. So it, as Paige was talking about before, how people are just so relentlessly like dedicated to the craft, I feel like it's really pushed me to be intentional about the stories we choose to tell and all of the details that go into it, the characters we elevate, and like most importantly, the emotional truths that we're trying to tap into. So I just feel just super grateful to help shape work that reaches families everywhere, and hopefully becomes part of someone's core memories out there down the line.
Aw. Yeah, I mean, you literally said it all, but same here. I've always loved Disney for as long as I can remember, and Disney storytelling, because it's really all about creating happiness and joy and magic for people. It's like, where else can you say that you're creating happiness and joy for people? So I truly believe that there's really no other place that you can tell these stories with this kind of heart and impact and really be able to contribute to that level of emotional storytelling that resonates so deeply with audiences all around the world of all different ages. So for me, being part of a team that gets to do that really just brings that feeling to life. And it's something that I never take for granted. And I'm just really so grateful to be a part of and continue to make these stories.
Thank you so much for just making the holidays brighter and just, seriously bringing the Disney magic to so many people. So thank you both for what you do. Happy holidays. And I'm going to go watch the short. again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. This is so fun. You're amazing. And we really, really appreciate you having us here.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts to catch our next episode. And if you want to learn more about working at Disney, follow Disney Careers on social media or visit DisneyCareers.com. We'll see you real soon. The Life at Disney podcast is produced by Jaron Kaufman and Sarah Monyer. Editing by Brandon Colon and Hannah Butler. Design and graphics by Delaney Regner. Music arranged and produced by Nat Young Music Group Incorporated. A special thank you to the teams at Disney Entertainment and the brand marketing team.